Hi there, Glauco Alves here. Welcome to my channel. Today is a special day because I'm going to talk about one of my favorite guitars ever, and it's a fairly late edition. I only have this guitar for about maybe 3 years now. Yeah, it's a late edition because I don't buy as many guitars as I used to nowadays. And well, without any further ado, this is my Fender Squire or Fender JV Squire or JV Fender Squire, however you like it. So this guitar, it's made in Japan, Fender, licensed by Fender, built at the Fujigen or Fujigen factory, which is a well-known factory in Japan. And basically, this guitar is amazing. And honestly, I can put it side by side with my custom shop. And I really, I can't recommend these guitars enough. It's just great. It's not that the custom shop isn't great. It's just this one is really great. And they really got it right. Apparently, the need of making and building them in Japan was a bit to become their own competition or become competition for the copies that they were making there. The copies were apparently really good, so Fender decided to stop building those in Japan for the Japanese market, really. And if you're not familiar with the JV model, JV series, it stands for Japanese Vintage. So the JV model, the Japanese Vintage, arrived in America before the actual American Vintage. And everybody at the Fender factory at the time, they were really shocked how good this guitar was. And basically, Dan Smith were set to do something like that, but they were pretty much like crying, when they saw this, because they couldn't get as good as this one in USA. So basically, the folks at Fender in USA back in early 1980s, they were really trying to build the better Fenders that they had back in the past, like the pre-CBS era. Since during the 70s it kind of lost its path, and people were started complaining about Fender, and there are some very good 70s Strats, and I played a few. Don't own any anyways, but there was some good ones. But the production maybe have increased a little bit in numbers, but the quality decreased as well. So Dan Smith and the people from Fender, they're trying to make better guitars. And when this one arrived, the JV, Japanese Vintage, arrived in America, that was quite a shock for them, because they were trying to do something like that, like the correct headstock, perfect size, exactly, or closer as possible, I would say, to the original one. Everything, like pickups were sounding really great. Even though some people complain about Japanese electronic components on these guitars, mine is all original. And now I'm playing actually through my Victory V40 and pretty much straight into the amp. And I have a little bit of echo and straight into my interface. And this guitar can be a bit of rebel if I play an overdrive, because I'm pretty sure these pickups, they're not waxed, so they, you can scream on them. If you have like an overdrive on, you can actually scream on them, and you can hear your voice perfectly on the PA. So yeah, but I like that. I really truly like that, because it's such a lively guitar, and I like the tone. Last year, I think it was back in end of March or early April, I've done a Layla Tribute. I'm gonna leave the link below if you want to check it out. So I recorded the Layla Tribute with a bunch of friends, everything recorded remotely, just everything, I actually mixed everything. And I wanted to get that kind of a Strat into the little Fender champ, but I didn't have a champ, so I had my little Epiphone Valve Junior 5 watts. So that's all you need, like a really cranked up 5 watts amp. Doesn't matter if it's like, like a Fender amp, but was good enough. And I'll leave the link below so you can check it out for yourself and see if this guitar playing through a very inexpensive amplifier did the job. I had the chance to play a few 57s just, you know, not my guitars. I don't want any. This is the oldest guitar I own, by the way, 1983. I don't have anything really vintage. This guitar is just like, even the string spacing, apparently the dots as well, everything is correct. So an amazing job, very thin pick guard, as the original ones. Not sure this is Bakelite, to be honest, but I wouldn't go giving information that I don't know. I just, you know, in my opinion, is one of the best guitars I own. I could put it side by side with any custom shop that I have, or the ones I put together myself. So the only mods I've done on this guitar so far was just a fret wire. I just can't stand like a skinny frets. They are good for playing slide, but for anything else, it's not really my cup of tea, as we say here in England. The other thing I can say, these guitars, they vary quite a lot in price, and of course that's due to the conservation of the instrument. Mine, as I said, I mean, it's quite beaten, has some marks here and there, some dings. I don't care, because I knew I was buying a second hand. I knew it was a vintage instrument, and you know, this kind of stuff happens through time, and I was more concerned about the originality, because I really wanted to check if these guitars are worth the hype, as everybody says, and I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people, you know. And I'm going to leave the link below as well, where you can actually find a lot of more accurate information about this guitar. This is just my shout out for an instrument that you can get for a fraction of a custom shop and maybe make your little tweaks to it. And you can still get those guitars for a very good price. Of course, it's all about the conservation of the instrument. You know, if it's in very good shape, possibly going to pay about $1,000, maybe even $1,500 or £1,000. Mine, I paid about £550, so that was pretty good. I can bring this guitar even to sessions because it's so nicely set, and because of the refret, the playability in this instrument is amazing and it sounds great. I played live with this guitar, I've done recordings with this guitar, and I'm really happy with it. If you are interested in buying one of these JV Strats, I'll leave the link below here, which is fuzzfaced.net. There is a lot of information about this guitar there, and I even found one thing that I didn't know about it, which was that JV also had a model with nitro. Yes, you heard it right. Made in Japan, replica of a 1957 and 62, but with the nitro finish on it. They were the top of the range back then. And this one is a poly finish, but it's really thin, which is great. You know, it's super thin and you can easily peel it off if you want, which I wouldn't recommend because, you know, it's cool as it is. It's a piece of history. It was poly at the time, you know, and it's been here for such a long time. I don't see the need of, you know, changing that. So that's it for today, guys. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And for more content like this, please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.